we'll do this for HR 224. Okay. Because multiple people this stream already have been asking, like, yo, what's the best class 224? What class should I play? So, this is only going to be my opinion. So, I may say things that people may not agree with, but that's fine. We're going to go from left to right here. Barbarian. This is for solos 224. I think before, when Barbarian was going crazy because of the hatchet, before they nerfed, what's it called? The life trade ability. What's it called, chat? I forgot. When Hatchet Barb was running around like crazy, I think Barbarian was probably A tier. But once that got nerfed, nobody really plays Barbarian Hatchet solo. And the thing is, for 224s, you have to min-max your weapons. So, Blood Exchange, thank you. Yes, Blood Exchange. When people were running around like crazy with Hatchet Blood Exchange, it was probably A. Because Blood Exchange was ridiculous. But now, because you have to min-max the weapons in 224s, I still think Barbarian is really strong. It's hard to kind of rank these classes, because it also depends on what you're running, right? If you're running anything but Reckless and solos, you're trolling. So, if you're not running Reckless, you're probably B or below, if you're not running Reckless. If you're running Reckless, it's like B plus A minus. Like, it's hard, it's like in between. Just because Barbarian's really good at 1v1s. The only issue is you're gonna have a hard time with certain caster classes, but 224's solos, casters aren't in there because Druids are completely busted right now. So, yeah. So I'm gonna put in A. I'm gonna put in an A. Barbarians in solos. But yeah, this is gonna change. It's Barbarians and duos and trios are much worse. But this is probably 224's Barbarian is probably the best Barbarian is at in 224s. The higher you go up, the worse it is. The more people on your team, the worse it is. So that's just my opinion. Bard. This is Bard right here. Bard. Oh man. So before the Spellpred buff, nobody was running Spellpred on Warlock. And Bard was like AS. Probably S. Just for 224s because it just Shriek is insane. Melting mobs, being able to shriek enemies and stuff like that. I mean, you could trade like crazy. Special Rondo Bard is really insane. But now there's a shit ton of Warlocks and solos with Spellpred. So that knocks Bard down. So Bard's either an A or a B. Just because of the fact that probably a third of the lobbies are Warlocks right now. I kind of want to put it at B. But it really depends on the Bard. If you're a really good Bard, it's still A. Like, you're still fine. You just have to play a little bit differently. But yeah, I'll probably put Bard at A as well. Bard has always been a really good solo class, especially for 224s. Because all you have to do is min-max True Fizz, and you're pretty much good to go. Just make sure you got enough, make sure all your stats are good. And then this class is Cleric. Yeah, Cleric, I'm just going to put S. Like, it's... DP Cleric is S class. It's insane in solos right now. You can beat Barbarian. You can beat pretty much any class. I don't know. Maybe Druid is the only class that could probably beat Cleric. Potentially. No, not even. Because Cleric can beat Druid as well. DP is just insane. All it takes is 2 hits in Panther and you die. I think Cleric might be one of the best soul classes right now to play. But specifically, Divine Protection, Smite. Spell Cleric is Troll in solos. So don't even think about that. What next we got? Druid, S class. It's not even close. Druid is S. Druid, in my opinion, is the most broken class in the game. Solos, duos, and trios, it's the best class. Fast maneuverability, you can move around the map, you can get away. You can make so many misplays, and you can just, like, rat through a door and you're gone. Just reset for free. So, Druid's definitely S. Panther is completely busted. They buffed him again, so Panther dash was reduced by 10 seconds. Panther has high action speed, high damage. I believe Panther is poison. It's ridiculous, bro. There's a silence, so if you encounter any casters, you kind of just win for free. Yeah, jack of all trades. You can go Bear. Bear, you can pretty much tank any other melee class in the game. Just, yeah, jack of all trades, master of everything. Druid's S for sure. What is this? This is for solos 224 HR. Next is Rogue. So Obviously, Rogue is either S or A. I think I'm gonna put Rogue at A. I don't think it's S, just because I think a lot of Rogues are bad. It's just that simple. Like, the good Rogues, if they landmine you, you're just dead. You kind of just lose. But I think a majority of Rogues are really, really bad. And when they landmine you, they don't do it correctly, and you have time to trade with them, and you win. As long as you hit your headshots and you flick on them in time. But a good Rogue, you kind of just die for free in solos. Especially 2/2/4s. They just min-max. Grimmy's all ats. They just get a disgusting stiletto, and then that's it. I mean, they don't even need a secondary. They can just bring great daggers to throw. It's pretty insane. Yeah. Fighters. Fighter is not as good as it used to be. And the reason why is because Warlock is really, really strong right now. So I'm going to put Fighter at B class, B tier. Because Warlock hard counters Fighter, because Fighter has naturally low magic resist. Especially if you go full plate. So, which is kind of like the only playstyle right now, especially in 2/2/4s. Yeah, so Fighter's not in a good spot at the moment. I believe Fighter loses to Reckless Barb. Bards can outplay Fighters with Shriek. I mean, I don't even know, what would be the matchup Fighter wins? Fighter beats Ranger. And that's pretty much it. Fighter can beat Druid. If you're good with the shield, you have like a lantern shield, or even a regular shield, you can outplay a Druid. That's pretty much it. Fighter loses to Cleric, because DP Cleric is disgusting. Smite just completely melts Fighter. Yeah. But yeah, talking about Warlock. Warlock is S tier right now. I know I'm a Warlock main, and it's hard for me to say it, but Warlock is completely busted right now. For sure. A lot of it's because a lot of people are using TM, and just getting 5-all as caster is insane. Like, if you go over here and you look, right? Say you got 5-all, like, for instance, this kit, right? I have 0% cast speed right now. So this, like, the caster version of this goes from unusable, you get your 5 shards, this jumps up to 15%, which is, like, bare minimum for caster. So, like, you can go from, like, a build normally that you wouldn't be able to use to, like, a decent build cast speed wise, caster wise, just from having 5-all. And not only that, I mean, you get 5 vigor, so you have more HP, 5 strength, more fizz power. Like, everything goes up. Action speed goes up 5%, fizz power goes up 5%, magic power goes up like 5 will, I think it's like 7-ish%, something like that. I mean, all the stats go up, which is nice. And it kind of sucks to say, because, like, it's a little overtuned caster wise. But at the same time, Plate Lock and other melee versions of Warlock needed this to be viable, because their base stats are just so low. With, like, multiple pieces of strength here, I'm only at 18 strength, and Barbarian has, like, 25 naked, her base. So, like, in order to compete against other melee classes, you need the 5-all. But at the same time, 5-all with caster, a hybrid, makes Warlock incredibly strong right now. So, one thing I suggested is, like, TM. Maybe make it you can't use TM with shards. Yeah, that'd probably be that might be too broken. Also, another thing that makes this disgusting is spell pred. Spell pred, they need to remove being able to get shards from spell pred, because now you can just, if you're in like a duo or trio, I know this is just solo, I'm just ranting now, but if you could just take Soul Collector off, just run spell pred, and just spread pred your teammate and just get free shards, and then you have 5-all for free. That's kind of busted. And it frees up a perk slot. But yeah, that's busted. But yeah, solos, Warlock is very, very strong. The only issue is, like, here's the thing. It's very strong, but it has very hard counters. Like, Warlock loses like 90% of the time to Druids. If you get landmined by a decent rogue, you lose 90% of the time. And DP Clerics are kind of a hard matchup, but you can just kind of do that. But other than that, you win every other comp for free. Like, yeah. Druid is the main thing that makes Warlock, you know. It's kind of tough playing Warlock. But other than that, bro, Warlock is S tier for sure. It's not even close. Yeah. Wizard, solo 2/2/4s, D. You have to be a fucking Chad to play Wizard in solos 2/2/4. It's just terrible, bro. Landmine Rogue, Druid, I mean, you get landmine by anybody behind a door, you're dead for free. You can't get out of it. Only matchup Wizard probably... Nah, C tier. We'll put a C tier. The only matchup that Wizard would probably win would be Fighter, because of low magic resist. Cleric, low magic resist. Unless you're building like higher will. I mean, you can beat some classes. It's just Wizard is so squishy. It's so tough to play in solos. But I'm sure everybody already knows that. Sorc solos, I'm gonna put A tier. And the reason why is because you don't have the same move speed issues that Wizard has because you cast with no hands. Obviously, you can bring the spellbook and you cast with that for increased damage, but it's really, really strong. It's hard making this tier list, right? Because I'm like looking, I'm like, oh, this class gets slammed by Druid, this class gets slammed by Druid. But it's like, if I take Druid out of the equation, Sorc is definitely A. Destroys Barbarians, destroys Bards, Fighters. A really good Sorc could destroy a Warlock, even if you have anti-magic, for sure. Clerics, I think Sorc may be S-class, to be honest. I'd probably put Sorc in S, if we're taking Druid out of the equation. Yeah, I think that's where it's at. Sorc is really, really, really strong. You just min-max all true magic, like with rings and pendant, and you do a stupid amount of damage. I think the scaling is a little overtuned on just the casting version of Sorc, and I think they probably need to rebuff the melee version. I think they cooked melee Sorc, which kind of sucks, because melee Sorc was kind of fun, but it's not very viable right now. Ranger. Not many people are running Ranger solos, because like it's hard to play Ranger solos, bro. I'd probably put Ranger at B solos. Like, I know you obviously have the footsteps perk, right? So you can see where players are, but like, man, I very rarely see or even die to Rangers in solos. The only time Rangers are really an issue is like in duos. Crossbow Ranger. But yeah, this is just my opinion. Everyone has their own opinion on the tier list, but this is kind of what I think right now. It's tough, man. A lot of these aren't even A or S. They're like in between, but there's no... I wish there was like an S- or an A+, like in between. Because like, Barbarian, I want to put at B+, but I can't because Reckless Barb in solos is insane.